this night after the Packers roll the Giants 45-17 at Lambeau Field. What a dominating performance on both sides of the football, TJ.
Well, I think our defense definitely played outstanding yesterday, and offensively we built off that. We capitalized on most of the turnovers, but our defense has been doing a tremendous job all year, and they've been the reason why we've won 9 games, and those guys just do a great job taking the football away offensively. It was nice to have Aaron back, and putting 45 points up was definitely higher than our goal. So we had a fantastic day yesterday.
Yeah. Did anybody invite the Giants here tonight? Because I heard they had to hang around Appleton for a while, huh?
Yeah, I know they stayed in last night. I'm not sure if they flew out yet.
I know it was a late morning, like just before noon. They were still there waiting. They were on standby apparently. So that's not fun. Second week in a row it's happened to them too.
Yeah, that's tough. Never want to lose a game and I have to stay in the same town to get off the boss back. So that wasn't fun.
Hey, how about Aaron Rodgers back from a concussion, 404 yards and 4 touchdowns? He was maybe just a hair wild his first couple of balls, and after that he really settled in, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He had a nice day. I think his best play was probably when he scrambled and decided to slide at the 5-yard line. All of a sudden on the sideline, get down, Aaron, get down. And he made a good play. But yeah, he did an outstanding job yesterday with his arm. I thought our offensive line did a great job protecting him. New York has a great defensive line up there, so I thought our line did a fine job of giving him time. And he makes a lot of plays, with his arm when he's got plenty of time. And he made some plays with his legs, as he always does. When he gets out of the pocket and runs around, he's going to find an open guy. So, great performance by Aaron. I know it was a big game for him coming back from the injury. So, we were proud to have him back, and he played very well.
Of course, he slid and then got up and did the old safe sign, let everybody know everything was all right.
He did. It was good to see him slide, though. I'm sure he's been working on that lately. He's been taking a lot of heat for diving and trying to get extra yards. So smart play by him by getting down.
Some guys, when they do the celebrating, whatever bodily gestures they use, some people it doesn't look very good. With Rodgers, it looks pretty good. He does it in a way that you kind of think, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he does. He's got that little championship belt on that he likes to do, but he's got that little fist pump too. I'm not a big fan of that, but he definitely makes it look good. And he's an energetic guy when he makes plays. He gets excited. So we definitely build off his energy.
Yeah. See, if I was on the other team, the championship belt would rub me the wrong way.
I'm sure it does. Yeah, I'm sure it does.
There were people buying into it. There were actually 3 different people that I saw. Now only 3, but still, it was the first 3 I've seen. In the atrium yesterday before the game, they had big old championship belts, boxing belts. I don't know where they got them from. Probably a thrift store or something like that. But they look like the real deal.
I guess he's starting to trend.
Part of the costume. Yeah, Rodgers, he slides, having a good time. Packers, 6 giant turnovers yesterday. Eli Manning has had a tough time with interceptions. I thought he threw some balls, forced some balls into coverage. Packers secondary, I thought, was outstanding again yesterday in coverage. They were really tight, and Eli Manning didn't have a lot of places to go, and instead of kind of throwing the ball away sometimes, I think he tried to force it a little bit, and you're not going to get away with that with the secondary.
Right, 6 turnovers. You're not going to win any games in the NFL by turning the ball over that many times. And our defense has done a fantastic job all year, taking the ball away, forcing fumbles, getting interceptions, and I think Eli, once they got down a little bit, he started forcing more passes, but our guys were all over the place yesterday. And the Giants have a very talented group of receivers too, with Nix and Manningham. Obviously, they had a couple big plays yesterday, but I thought they responded real well. Forcing 6 turnovers is just unheard of. That's a great job by them, and I'm glad we were able to capitalize on offense off those turnovers.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the Giants defensively against the Packers. They want to blitz, they want to put pressure on, so they're sending linebackers at times, they're trying to put pressure on Rodgers, and yet their defensive backs were soft, back in coverage, they were well off the ball, no bump and run, no disrupting the timing of the play, trying to get the receivers off their game a little bit. They basically just gave the Packers everything in front of them. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did, and that's what we were expecting all week. We were preparing for a lot of blitzes, a lot of pressure, and they're a team that they like to bring pressure off the edge. So You know, we had a lot of little short passes incorporated in the game plan, and you know, yesterday I thought Aaron did a fantastic job of extending plays and finding open guys. But you know, we knew they were going to heat us up. We were ready for it. You know, we had a lot of checks. Aaron's, you know, probably one of the smartest guys at reading defenses and seeing blitzes coming. So, you know, he usually gets us into the right protections, and he did a great job yesterday of checking out some plays and getting into different ones and you know, making a pay when they brought the pressure.
You know, the interesting thing is they were given the short stuff, but then how many times did you complete long balls over the top? I mean, there was probably 8-10 balls completions that were, you know, 25 yards or more yesterday.
Yeah, well, our perimeter group did a fine job yesterday. You know, I've been saying it all year. I think they're one of the best, you know, wide receiver groups in the whole NFL. Those guys, you know, you cover them one-on-one, they're going to get open and make plays. So, you know, it's like if you blitz, you know, they're one-on-one and they're going to get open. If you sit back, Aaron's going to, you know, roll out and make plays with his feet and scramble and keep plays alive. So, you know, we feel like we have a very talented group of receivers. And those guys did a great job getting open yesterday, and also Aaron finding them for you know, for the wide open pass.
I thought there was one of those turnovers, one of the 6, when Clay Matthews came from behind and batched the ball out of the hands of Brandon Jacobs. And after the fumble, then there was like 4 key hustle plays by Packers, followed by a boneheaded play by Kevin Boss, and then another hustle play to come up with a fumble. So it was like 5 really good, 5 guys that all made key plays. Kevin Boss, all you gotta do is fall on football, and still Giants football, with a first down, and he tries to pick it up and run with it, and that wasn't happening. And normally that doesn't work out very well.
Right. Yeah. That play by Clay was, I mean, that was just outstanding effort. That's really what, you know, what this team's been about the last 2 weeks, is just that extra effort. You look at the play, I mean, he got up the field, you know, 6-7 yards on the play, and to just sprint back down the sideline and you know, force that fumble. That was a huge play for us. I think we were only up by 2 scores, so to get the ball back in our hands and get down and score, that was a big play for us.
Okay, a lot more to come. We'll talk about the adventures of John Kuhn, who had a big day yesterday, and a whole lot more. We'll meet our guests. That's coming up next. Back with more in the Huddle after this on the Woodward Radio Network. And we're back here at the 5th quarter in Little Chute, along with TJ Lang. Our program brought to you each and every Monday night by Mole Lake Casino Resort and Conference Center. Our guest in the program this evening, one of the Packers' 5 wides. He's in his 3rd season out of San Diego State University, number 16, Brett Swain.
Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Do they qualify as a 3rd season?
Yeah, I would say.
Technically?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, you were here the first year, spent most of your time in the practice squad.
Yeah.
Last year was kind of a disappointing year because you fought hard to make the team. You did it, and then after 6 games, you went down with a knee injury, and obviously that was a pretty frustrating time for you.
Yeah, definitely. You know, whenever you have to go through something like that after you know, making the team for the first time is just definitely an eye-opening experience. But I learned from it, and I'm making sure I'm making most of all my opportunities I get this year.
More and more players, and you're a classic example. But more and more players, sometimes you just got to go that practice squad route. Sometimes you're just not ready to go, but they see a lot of potential, a lot of upside in an individual. So that's what that practice squad's for. I remember when the practice squad first came out, I'm not so sure there were a lot of players that made their way to the active roster, at least not in the numbers that they do now.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, you know, a practice squad is for players that aren't ready to go. I would say, you know, my first year was a tough year for me because I was a 7th round pick coming into a solid group of guys.
Right,
you know, Jordy had just got drafted in the 2nd round right before me, and you know, they had a vet in Ravel Martin at that 5 spot that, you know, he was just a better player at that time. And you know, in this league experience, you know, it pays off in the end. And I just wasn't experienced enough, and you know, I used that year to, you know, kind of gain some strength and mobility and athleticism to, you know, come out and perform the next year.
How does it feel to be a part of that when McCarthy has gone to that 5 wide and you're a piece of that puzzle, and Aaron Rodgers has thrown you the ball a couple of times?
Yeah, as soon as we, you know, brought out that whole you know, 5 wide deal, you know, it was exciting. You know, it was finally, you know, a chance for me to get on the field and play a little bit of receiver, and you know, I just, you know, have so much fun being out with those guys, Greg, Donald, and we're all on the field at the same time. Aaron, Donald, Greg, Jordy, and James, and it's fun and exciting to play with those guys.
Are you kind of just like a sponge with all that experience out there? You're kind of just soaking up a little bit from everybody?
Yeah, definitely. You learn every time you step on the field with these guys. And sometimes it's funny because you'll step out on the field, and if you're not on top of your stuff, they'll mess with your head, and they'll be like, "Hey, Swain, you know what you got on this one?" I'll be like, "Yeah, I know what I got." Okay, because if you don't know, they might tell you something a little different, and you'll show up on film, and you won't be liking what the coach has to say for you. So you got to be on your toes.
All right, both of you guys, two teams that had everything to play for and a lot to lose in yesterday's football game. The Giants, they kind of crumbled, and the Packers were very well prepared and executed almost to the fullest on both sides of the football, plus special teams. Tell me what the week was like, what the mentality was going into that football game.
Well, it was a do-or-die game for us, and we knew everything was on the line. We were treating it just like a playoff game. We lost, and if we lost, basically our season was over. So, it was a great week of preparation. Definitely built off the energy we had last week in New England. That was a great thing we brought from that game. So, I don't think anybody was really freaking out, but we all understood what was on the line and what we needed to do to win. So we had a great week of preparation. We got out there Sunday, and it was just awesome to be back home in front of the crowd. We definitely built off their energy as well. So, I thought we came out with a lot of energy and enthusiasm and emotion, and obviously, we were the better team this week.
Was it pretty loose, Brett?
I would say, going throughout the week, we approached it as our backs were against the wall. This was our last stand, and if we wanted to make anything of the season, these last two games were it. So we approached this, just like any other game. But you had that stress that you don't know if you're going to go to playoffs or not. But we just wanted to get through this next game. So as soon as we got through this next game, we were set and ready to go. So the attitude around the locker room was, let's approach it just like a normal game, but our backs are against the wall, and it was a do-or-die situation for sure.
Well, now it's the Chicago Bears, and they won the first one, but that first one you lost by 3 and had like 18 penalties in a football game. So it's a much different football team from then to now, and you can't take it away from Chicago. They're playing good football. Their quarterback's playing much better. They've got some talent. Wide receiver Knox is a talent, but I tell you, I like the way you guys are playing right now.
I do too. And that first game, we definitely remember that. Those 18 penalties. You got to give a team credit when they beat you, but we definitely beat ourselves that game with the dumb penalties and turnovers. So we definitely got a chip on our shoulder from that first game. So we're going to be ready to go this week. Anytime you play the Bears, it's just jacked up practices, or guys are hitting hard, and it's going to be a fun week for us. So we're definitely excited to get another shot at these guys.
Mike McCarthy said that before the game and all week long, he was sick and tired of hearing about how good the Giants' defensive front was, their defensive line, how physical they were, all the numbers they had accumulated in sacks and forced fumbles and all that kind of stuff. And then Scott Wells apparently is one of the captains for the football game, kind of mentioned that as well. Tell me about that pregame thing, that message that Wells delivered.
We were just sick of it. We were sick of hearing about their O-line and their D-line, and we brought that up in the locker room before we went out there, and we said basically the best line, best offense and defensive line today is going to be the outcome, going to be the difference maker in the game. We always bring it up as a unit, the D-line and the O-line, and before we go out on the field, and we kind of talk a little rah-rah, but we're just sick and tired of it. We wanted to go out there, punch them in the mouth, control the line of scrimmage all day. We knew it was going to be a big key to success, and the guys, definitely a whole lot of, what's what I'm looking for. I said energy about 50 times today. I'm trying to look for a different one. But, definitely great attitude going in the game, and we wanted to dominate those guys, kind of make a name for ourselves going against, one of the best lines. So those guys did a fantastic job yesterday.
Yes, that Eastern Michigan University education. That's the best you can come up with for us.
I'll think of one.
Well, you guys are obviously it's down to one for the one game for the playoffs, and Chicago may or may not have something to play for. The game has been moved from a noon to a 3:15, but Chicago's going to know because Philadelphia plays at noon. Chicago's going to know either based on tonight's game or the noon game with the Eagles whether or not they even have to play everybody. So who knows? I don't know if Lovey's going to do anybody a favor or not. This is the one thing that he said before he came, or right when he got to Chicago, is our #1 goal is to beat the Green Bay Packers. And I think the guy pretty much says that year after year. It's like I don't think he's let that go on by the wayside.
Yeah, it's a great rivalry. The Packers-Bears, energy's always up, the crowd's always up. I don't know if anybody was at the game, this last game, but the crowd was just, it was great. It was one of the loudest games I've ever played as the Packers, and I can't wait to see what happens in this game.
I thought it was the best crowd all year. Yeah, I really did. Maybe the last couple of years.
It was from beginning to the end. I mean, from the first kickoff to the last play of the game, everybody was into the game, and it makes the game go so much easier as a player when you know you got that crowd on your back and you're ready to go and make plays. It makes everything that much better. So thank you guys.
Talked about penalties in the first game. 3 penalties for 31 yards against the Giants. 66 total penalty yards for the Packers in the last 3 games. So obviously you guys have pretty much cleaned up your act.
Yeah, we have. We're playing better football all around. Definitely being more disciplined. Those penalties were kind of something that struck us the wrong way early in the season, but we've definitely cleaned it up here the last half of the season.
Yeah, 515 total yards by the Packers yesterday, most since 548 back in 2003 against Oakland. Aaron Rodgers 404 yards. I almost said the bad word there. Aaron Rodgers 404 yards passing was about 10 shy of Lynn Dickey's. The last person to do it, Lynn Dickey, that he did it back in 1988 or something like that. It was a while ago, so it's good stuff. All right, we're going to come back and we'll continue our conversation with Brett Swain and TJ Lang. We're back with more after this on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay offensive lineman TJ Lang.
Back here at the 5th quarter in Little Chute as we continue here on this Monday after a Packer victory over the Giants yesterday. Our transportation provided by L&S Classic Limousine, personal and professional service for all occasions. Call 800-830-5933 and ask for Lenny or Sue. Lenny, how's your Christmas? All right? Very good. Lenny came with the Indiana Jones look tonight. Well, he doesn't have his hat on right now, but trust me, when he puts it on, he looks like Indiana Jones. And a couple of weeks ago, he had this Mr. T starter kit with him, so he's kind of like an impersonator. But Lenny is all right, man. If you're ever in the Valley or in Wisconsin, he'll drive anywhere and pick you up in Wisconsin, won't you, Lenny? You'll drive anywhere and pick people up, won't you? Absolutely. Hey, did you hear about what Ed Rendell, the governor of Pennsylvania, said today about that snowed out game in Philadelphia?
No.
This is some classic stuff. Ed Rendell, it goes against everything that football is all about, talking about canceling that game. We've become a nation of wusses. The Chinese are kicking our butt in everything. If this was in China, do you think the Chinese would have called off the game? Rendell was ranked by the league's decision to move the Eagles' home game against the Vikings from Sunday to Tuesday. He says, quote, about a foot of snow fell on Philadelphia, though less than 5 inches was on the ground before the scheduled kickoff at 8:20. He viewed the NFL's decision as a referendum on the toughness or lack thereof of the United States. He says, my biggest beef is that this is part of what's happened in this country. I think we've become wussies. We've become a nation of wusses. The Chinese are kicking our butt in everything. If this was in China, do you think the Chinese would have called off the game? People would have been marching to the stadium. They would have walked, and they would have been doing calculus on the way down.
That's awesome.
Ed Rendell. So a lot of other players thought the decision was a little premature as well. They did have, as they said, about 5 inches on the ground before kickoff and probably close to a foot by the time the game was over. It was a snowstorm that kind of crippled the eastern seaboard there. Where do you guys come down on this?
Play the game. Who cares? Play the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a little mixed feelings about it because I don't think they're looking out for the players in the game. I think they're looking out for the fans and everybody traveling to the game because, you don't want to feel responsible as a owner or a city of the U.S. when, some people may die or get seriously injured coming to a football game when that's supposed to be, a fun thing to do.
Yeah, their fear was, and this is city officials in Philadelphia, their fear is that they were going to get so much snow that by the time the end of the game, everybody would be stuck with that many people. They'd have a hard time digging them out, and then and apparently it's a major population area where everybody kind of would just be stuck in one spot, and they did not want to have to not be able to get those people out of the lot and on their way home, and they feared that. So I don't have a major decision or major problem with what they did. And the reason it was moved to Tuesday is why? Television.
Yeah,
NBC.
There you go.
NBC. That was NBC said, you know what? And it was NBC, ESPN. The last time this happened to NBC was just a short time ago, and they got pushed to Monday night. And what happens if they get pushed to Monday night tonight? Now you're going up against Jacksonville and New Orleans versus the Eagles and a bad Vikings team. So, they had to push to Tuesday. They're not happy about it, but it's certainly better than what it could have been. So, all right. TJ Lang, Brett Swain is our guest on the program this evening. I want to go back and talk a little bit about John Kuhn. We talked about him before in this program, and he's been on this program earlier this year, but post-game press conference, Mike McCarthy made reference to the fact that he didn't understand why they were booing John Kuhn. And I think he was dead serious when he said it.
I don't know how you can.
Mike's a smart guy. How can you not know what's going on with John? John Kuhn gets cooned on the road. He gets cooned at home. He gets everywhere. He's a popular guy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to bring that up to Coach McCarthy's mom. But.
he is. You know what? And people love him because he is, meat and potatoes, the lunch pail guy, the kind of player that people in Wisconsin identify with. And every time he does, and you know what? His actions on the field certainly are deserving of the applause and all the attention that he's getting, though. Whatever he's asked to do, whether it's block, catch, short yardage, when he's been on the field, he very rarely fails to execute.
Yeah, he definitely makes the most of his opportunities. And he's a guy that is always going to give that second and third effort that you're looking for. And dating back to last week against the Patriots, you saw him jumping over guys, trying to do anything to get those first downs. And yesterday, was obviously scoring 3 touchdowns was just a career day for him. I talked to him after the game, and I don't think he still, he still couldn't believe it. He just said, "Whoa," But he had a great game, man. Watching a guy give that kind of effort, it's inspiring to the rest of the team. You want to get out there and do, give extra effort yourself. So he's a guy that we build off him for sure.
Well, whoa does not surprise me that would be his response, because he's usually a man of very few words.
Right.
5 or 6 he might string together if you're lucky. He's a reporter's nightmare, but you still like talking to him because he's such a good guy.
Yeah,
like to give him his day in the sun because he really deserves it. But special teams, he gets the game ball for special teams and a game ball for offense. Mike McCarthy said it's the first time that's ever happened in his head coaching time in Green Bay.
Yeah, the guy works hard. Practice, he's practicing like it's a game. We see the things that he does in the game every single day, so it's nothing new to us, It's what we expect out of John. And then you go in the weight room and the guy is, throwing weight around and working hard, and he's probably most drenched in sweat than anybody else in the weight room. So he's an all-day guy like that, and those are the type of guys you want on your side.
Did you guys play special teams in college?
I played a little bit. I played some return and some kick games, so I did a little bit.
Yeah, I played on the punt team. We had some colleges you'll see they're spread way across the field and 3 linemen in the back. I think I played on that my junior year, maybe a game on my senior year until they blocked the punt on me, then they took me off.
That's one way to get out of that duty.
I don't do it on purpose, but
I
wasn't mad that they took me.
I would hope not. No, the reason I bring that up because you know, not everybody plays special teams, and they're not asked to, or they might do it their freshman year or their first year in, and that's about it, and then it kind of goes by the wayside, because most players that play in the NFL, let's face it, they start on their football teams and you know, just never played a lot of special teams. Most of them don't anyway. So they're asked to kind of relearn the craft, and you can obviously tell there's more to it than just being athletic. There has to be, Brett, and I consider you one of the good ones. There has to be, I mean, you gotta have a little recklessness to you. You gotta fly around, yet you still have to be disciplined as well.
Yeah, I mean, special teams is about attitude and effort. Who wants to make the play most is the type of attitude you want in your special teams. And I feel like the more our special team unit comes together, that's more how we're starting to play a little bit. And you not necessarily might not have the biggest guys on the field or the fastest guys on the field, but you have the guys that are going to go from the beginning of the play to the end of the whistle. So, and you got to have a little bit of nastiness in you, and you got to kind of set a tone in the special teams part, because that's field position, and field position is probably one of the most important parts of this game. And getting that ball down and pinning that offense back down inside the 20-yard line is important. And you need guys that are going to be a little nasty and have that energy and effort to get down the field and play hard.
TJ, your mother and father and family are here tonight. Tom and Lynn, your mom and dad, and I'd like to thank you for coming out tonight. Merry Christmas. You spoiled your mom with a little Christmas present, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Bought her a new car.
And what kind of car was it?
It was a Town Country, new one. I might give her my Jeep though, because that thing's pretty sweet. It's got a DVD system in it. I might take that hit, but yeah, it was funny. You know, I live in an apartment complex, so you know, I was trying to, you know, for the whole week I was trying to figure out how I was going to give it to her, and you know, I told her to come downstairs because me and my little brothers and my dad were all down there. And we were ready to surprise her. She came down the wrong elevator, so I had to go run and catch her and then bring her down the other elevator. And when they surprised her, you know, she looked at them like they were sitting in a stranger's van, like, "What are you guys doing in that person's car?" You know, then you know, she realized it was hers. And she deserves it, man. You know, she's one of my biggest fans. Love her to death. So, you know, I'm glad I called her.
Outstanding. I bet a real Kodak moment too.
It was.
Good for you.
It was. Yeah.
Sonny Boy #1 you've just become. Way to go, TJ. Coming back for more after this on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay offensive lineman TJ.
And we're back here, and the huddle continues from the fifth quarter in Little Chutes. TJ Lang, Brett Swain, our guests on the program. It is time now for our Granite Peak Ski Area email segment. Granite Peak Ski Area in Wausau, the tallest and largest ski area in Wisconsin, 700 vertical feet and 74 runs. Granite Peak offers terrain of all levels for all skiers, and it's open now. For more information, go to skigranitepeak.com. Time now for the email segment. Justin.
All right, thanks, Bill.
By the way, Justin's the birthday boy tonight. Everybody, put your hands up there. Happy birthday, Justin.
Thanks, Bill.
You're not going to get out of here without a few shots anyway, so.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll take mine now. We'll start off with the first question from Christy in Kaukauna. The Giants were stuck in Green Bay, Appleton last night due to the flight restrictions. You guys could be stuck in an NFL city overnight. Which one would you prefer to be stuck in?
San Diego.
Somewhere warm. San Diego, Florida, somewhere would be nice.
All right.
It's not much to do up here, so it was probably pretty boring night for us guys. No offense to Wisconsin.
No offense to everybody in this room. Yeah, that's all right.
All right, we'll get to the next question. We'll go with the next question from Bill at Appleton here. In the first quarter, I believe the line judge pulled a muscle and they showed him on the sidelines getting stretched out. Announcer said he was out of the game for a bit. Do they have additional referees in cases such as this? What ends up happening when the ref gets hurt, I guess?
I think there is additional. I think they bring a couple guys just in case, you know, because those referees can get in the middle of some piles, and you know, they could get rolled up on just as much as we can as players. And I think they might have a couple extra guys, you know, if someone goes down, that they could bring someone in and they could, you know, just keep the game going.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They've done a good job of repositioning those guys though, because you know, forever they had a ref standing right, where the middle linebacker stands, and how many times you see him get smoked by a receiver crossing the middle or getting jacked by a lineman or something, so they moved him back. So, but yeah, those guys, I saw that guy limping. I was like, what's wrong with him? And somebody said he tore his quad or pulled his quad or something. So, he stayed in the game, man. He trooped it out and finished the game, but I'm not sure if they had backup guys. I would assume they did.
I've never seen referees warm up either, so maybe they gotta start warming up.
You see how old they are?
Yeah.
I don't think when you're that old it pays to stretch.
Yeah.
You ever take out a referee by accident at any level?
No, I don't think I have.
I think I have along the lines. It's either getting shoved out of bounds and just guys just sitting in the wrong spot. I think I've taken out a couple. If not, I've definitely headbutted a couple. So on accident, never on purpose.
Now that I think about it, I think in the Falcons game there was a fumble and I was trying to pull a guy off and I slipped and I think I elbowed a ref in the chest, but not on purpose. I'm glad he didn't throw a flag.
What do you think of when that happens? You turn around, you probably have a few words pop through your head we can't talk about right now. You're looking for a fine the next day.
Well, the one ref came in grabbing his flag, and I was like, no. So he didn't flag me, but I was like, oh crap, man, am I gonna get fined for taking a ref down with the elbow? But I'm glad that nothing came out of that.
You've been fined earlier this year, haven't you?
I got fined last year.
Last year, okay.
Yeah, last year in the Browns game.
Good thing your mom wasn't looking for a car last year. She'd have been on the short list.
All right, we'll get to our next question here coming from Dennis. For Christmas, considering you guys are Green Bay Packers, do you ever receive any Packer-related items for Christmas?
I get, this year we got a picture from our offensive coordinator actually. So he gave us a picture of ourselves in a nice Packer frame that you can put in your house and it looks nice. So that's the only Packer thing I've ever got.
I gave that to my mom, by the way.
Just rewrapped it and gave it right back to her. Buckled up in the passenger seat. I was going to say, Joe Philbin giving out pictures of himself. At first it sounded kind of weird when you kind of explained it.
Yeah. TJ's your classic regifter too, so.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
All right, I'll continue with the questions. This one coming from Craig in Reedsburg. With New Year's Eve being a holiday, do you guys end up getting a curfew, or are you able to go out and celebrate the holiday?
I think New Year's Eve's on Friday this year, so I don't know. We might go out.
That's a big smile, DJ. You're trying to make something.
That looked like trouble right there.
I'll stay up till 12:01 and celebrate and go to bed. I'm sure. My mom said, "Yeah, right." Yeah, my mom.
See your mom, right?
We should almost put Mom up here for a question segment and really find some things out.
Personally, you see his little brothers over there. I think he should go to bed at 10 to set a good example.
They stay up later than I do.
We got one more here. This one's from Christy. Looking at film on the Bears, do you see a different team this time around than the team you saw back in week 3 of the season down in Chicago?
They have a very talented defense. And their D-line and their linebacker groups they're pretty good players. So, with the Bears, it was like watching so many of their games this year. It's like, how are they winning these games? But they find ways to win. They're a talented group. So, definitely a lot of talent. It's going to be, being the last regular season game. Anytime you're playing Packers Bears, it's going to be a lot of intensity out there. So, they're a good group. We're definitely happy to have them at our place this time. But we got a little chip on our shoulder from that last time we played them. That left a pretty sour taste in our mouth. So we're going to be ready to go this week.
That was interesting with them, especially yesterday. Putting up 38 points. They've been winning games in different ways. I guess a lot like you guys this year too. You won your defensive games and the games where you outscored them. So.
Yeah, the Bears are definitely a good team. They're a team that finishes. They find ways to get it done. They find ways to score more points at the end of the game. So.
All right, we'll come back and we'll pick our winner of our email segment. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. Back with more from the fifth quarter in the Huddle after this on the Woodward Radio Network.
Yeah. About the earlier they're both the size of and it was like,
and we're back in the fifth quarter along with TJ Day and Brett Swain, our guest on the program this evening, and time down to announce our winner, the Granite Peak Ski, our email question of the week. Let's go right back out to Justin.
All right, thanks, Bill. We'll give it to Bill, who had the questions, talking about the referee and what happens there. A pretty good question. We haven't had that one yet this year, so we'll go ahead and award Bill the Granite Package, or Granite Peak Ski Package. There we go.
All right, congratulations, Bill, and our people will be in touch with your people, and we'll make that happen for you. Pro Bowl voting comes out this week, and the Packers will likely have some decent representation. I'll tell you, one guy that sometimes it's really tough to sneak in offense and defensive line. Receivers, I think, have a hard time. You know, you get in that first time, then you kind of got like the lifetime pass if you're, if you're a really good receiver. We've seen that throughout the years. But I'd say one guy that has really come on and had, in my opinion, he has saved the defensive line, and that's been B.J. Raji. He had another sack yesterday. He's got 3 in the last 2 weeks, 6.5 for the season. How many nose tackles have 6.5 sacks in a season?
Not many. I think Sue might have a couple more than that, but I think he's a 3-tech, so he gets a little more pass rush opportunities. BJ's been such a great asset to our D-line this year. Having him and Pickett and Howard Green was a great addition as well, and Jenkins, those guys. Those are some big bodies up front blocking, but BJ's made a huge impact for us this year.
Did you see what he did for his sack celebration?
I kind of caught the last glimpse of it. What was he doing, like a hula dance?
It was a hula dance.
Was it?
He wanted to remind the people on the Pro Bowl selection committee that he wants to go to Honolulu. That's
He deserves it. He's had a great year.
You know what? Justin mentioned it earlier today. He may be the only guy that wants to go to Honolulu. Everybody always begs out of that game. Unless you've never been there before, then it's always exciting the first time.
I wouldn't mind going. Some year. Hopefully in the future.
Well, you'd be the exception of the rule. You'd take it every year, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Get away.
You get away, you get to go to Hawaii. I think you get an extra, most people just take an extra week there. And I think you get like 10 grand to go, don't you?
Yeah, you get some money if you go. I think the winners get 50 and the losers get 20. I think so. Depending on who wins the game, you get some money, a little extra money in that way too. So it's definitely a good thing to go.
I wouldn't mind going. Pay off that car I just bought my mom.
I hope you do let her live that down.
I won't hold that against
That's a great present. It's really great that you were able to do that and that you actually did it. Some people wouldn't do that.
Yeah, when I first did it, I was kind of like, oh man. And then after that, it was like, yeah, I'm definitely glad I did it for it.
Yeah. Of course, your dad's a little ticked off about the 1-year subscription to Reader's Digest.
His favorite magazine.
All right, Packers Bears, second time this season. What you guys learned the first time around? Is it just way too long ago to even worry about that?
No, just like we said. The things you look at that you remember from that game are the penalties and the turnovers. So obviously we remember that, but we feel like we have both of those under control now. So it's just going to be a matter of getting out there and who wants to move more and just executing to the fullest.
All right, Brett, if you win on Sunday, you could play them again in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of the same scenario that we had last year with Arizona, and I feel a lot of the same guys in that Arizona game are going to be in this situation as well. So we definitely got to learn from last year, and hopefully that will help us get kind of through that situation. And I think it will. We'll see what happens on how things play out, but for the most part, I think we'll be ready for that.
Yeah, I thought Mike McCarthy gave an interesting answer at his press conference today, because somebody asked him about that and said, do you have to hold stuff back in case you play him again? Well, first of all, you got to win the first game to be able to get to the second game, so you can't hold anything back. He said, absolutely, we're not going to hold anything back. He said, we've got so many plays in our offense that we could play the Bears and back-to-back days if we wanted to, and not run anything the second time that we ran the first time. So, I don't think that's an issue, but obviously, you have to be worried about winning the first one first.
Absolutely, and it starts Wednesday. Everybody's going to be fired up. Every time we play the Bears, there's posters all over the place that say intensity. So we're going to be fired up to play this weekend. I wouldn't mind playing it back to back, because even if we have to go to Chicago, you know, we have great fans following us all over the place, but, you know, we'll have a lot of Packers fans at that game as well, you know, if it comes down to it. So, you know, I don't think it would be such a bad thing to you know, playing twice in a row if that's what it comes down to.
What do you do on your off day this time of year? Do you go in?
Yeah, I'll go in and watch some film and sit in the hot tub for a little bit and just kind of, you know, get a stretch in. But you know, I do a radio show on Tuesday afternoons as well, so, you know, I'm pretty busy, but you know, I definitely take some time to relax. I wouldn't say busy, but I like to relax.
That kind of sounded a little braggadocious to me. You know?
I'm not a brag.
Is that a word?
Braggadocious?
Something. If it isn't, it ought to be one. So
you're making fun of my vocabulary from my education. You said braggadocious.
It's a word. It's a word in my vocabulary. That's all that counts. I'm only here to keep me happy, not you. Okay. What, Brett, do you get on your off day, or?
Well, you know, I make sure, you know, what we got now is what we call Victory Monday. So we win, we get Monday off as well. And, you know, you try to use that Monday to get in and, you know, get a lift in, kind of look at the film, get a head start on Chicago. And then for the next Tuesday, you either, you know, come back in, watch a little bit of extra film, or you just kind of get off your feet and get ready for Wednesday, because you know you're going to have a tough week ahead of you.
Hey, good luck. Thanks for coming on the program, and good luck in the playoffs, all right?
All right.
All right. TJ, see you back here next Monday. Happy New Year. TJ Lang and Brett Swain. We'll see you next Monday right here on the Woodward Radio Network.